Hello everyone, Callie here. I just wanted to give you a quick introduction. Obviously, we are here for the Evolve to the New Reality, how to drive B2B website traffic and engage current customers to your B2B site. So without further ado, we want to make sure that you can hear all of the audio and see the presentation today. If you're having any trouble seeing the screen or hearing anything that I'm saying, please feel free to shoot us a question within that questions window. We'll be happy to get you all situated. And in the meantime, just to confirm that you can hear us and you can see everything okay, if you'll let us know where you're joining us from. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Ari so that he can give you a quick introduction on Crystal.
Hello, everyone. We at Brandwise are thrilled to welcome Crystal and to introduce her to all of you, the professionals that make up the Brandwise ecosystem. Crystal Vilkaitis is a pioneer in her space. Todd and Janetta and I, we first met Crystal probably nearly a decade ago. We've always been impressed by her knowledge and her passion. Long before many people knew what Facebook was or knew how to tweet, Crystal was already presenting to many industry groups at GHTA and GSMA on the power of social media. Like many visionaries through history, Crystal stayed true to her message and has built a thriving business with a loyal following. The rapid changes that the world has seen in the past 6 months have really shown that Crystal's approach and the message that she's put forward and the techniques work. Crystal's guidance is valued by retailers and suppliers all around the world, and we are honored that she's joining us here today. So Crystal, take it away.
Thank you, Ari. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. I am thrilled to be here. We are going to cover a lot of great things, so I hope you have something to take some notes on, because I know everybody's kind of in a different level of experience when it comes to social media. So some of this you might already be doing, but you can think of ways that you can leverage it even further, or some of these might be brand new strategies for you. So I am really excited you're here. I always like to start things off when I'm speaking and talk about the Pike syndrome. If you have heard of the Pike syndrome before, will you chat in the chat box and just say yes? Most people haven't, and it is very relevant to our industry. So what this is scientists did a study where they took a big pike fish and put it in a big glass tank, put a glass barrier, and then put little fish on the other side and monitor the pike's behavior. Now, as you can imagine, the pike kept running into the glass trying to eat the little fish. And after a while, he got frustrated, depressed, sank to the bottom, and just started to get pretty hungry. So the scientists removed the glass barrier to allow the pike to feast, but they were surprised to find what he did. Instead of eating, he just sat there and continued to be frustrated and depressed and eventually starved. The pike did not adjust to his new environment. He had this imaginary barrier that it was once there, but now it's gone. He was allowed to feast and he didn't. When I heard this story, I was actually driving in my car listening to a podcast, and I started yelling out loud because this is the retailers that I work with. This is our industry in gift and home. If we have these imaginary barriers and we do not adapt to our ever-changing environment, well, it's evolve or die. And in the social media space specifically, it changes a lot. And so I know that it can be kind of challenging to keep up with, but for those who are consistently using social media, it is a little bit better, it is a little bit easier for them to keep up with these changes and adapt to the new environment. Now, what's really interesting is, like Ari said, I've been in this social media industry since 2007, so basically from the beginning. And when COVID happened in March, I have never seen so many businesses scramble to try to use social media. And our retailers, our inboxes were flooded of retailers just being like, what do I need to do? What do I do? And thankfully, we have been doing this, teaching it, and I have a done for you agency for many years. So we were ready to just dive in and start helping retailers. And the exciting thing is that we helped a lot of them barely skip a beat. But those who did not adapt, they're struggling, and some have, as we all know, closed their doors. Now, I'm here today to help you guys from a B2B perspective to keep talking to your retailers to help you evolve your business and stay up to date with these changes and really share what's working best. So what we're going to do is, in the beginning here, I'm going to quickly go through the survey results. Last week, Brandwise sent out a survey so I could get a little bit of a pulse of the industry of what people are doing with their social media, as far as what platforms you're on, how much time you're spending, if you're advertising or not, if you are, how much money you're spending. So we're going to cover that pretty quick because we have a lot to cover today. I'm sure you'll be kind of interested to hear what those results are, especially if you participated. Then we're going to talk about what's working today to maintain existing buyer engagement, how to get in front of new customers, and how to drive traffic to your B2B websites. Now, those things alone, engagement, new customers, and traffic, we could spend a half a day together. We could probably spend a whole day or a couple days together. So I have taken my top tips, the things that I think are going to provide the most value for you, that are the easiest to get done. And we're going to cover that today. Then in that survey, I also asked, what is your burning question? And so at the end, I added all those questions, and ideally I can just rapid fire through those. I'm sure you're going to have some questions on today's webinar too. You feel free to chat those in. You can chat them in throughout today's presentation, and I might address them as we're going through stuff. Otherwise, we'll have some time at the end of our webinar today. I just want to give a big thank you to Ashley Miller with Give Carson, Stacy Olson with New Era Sales Team, Camille Claire with Ann Sales, Charlie Wright with Minor Thread. I had the opportunity to talk to all 4 of these ladies last week about their social media efforts in preparation for this webinar. So in addition to the survey results, I just wanted to talk and get a little bit more information about what people are doing and seeing work with social media. For the most part, everybody's really started to go all in on social since COVID. They had to kind of change what they were doing. It was Stacy who said, you know, it was kind of on the back burner before, and then this happened. It's like, we can't not use social media. So everybody, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard the word scramble. That's really what I think a lot of us feel like, scrambling, trying to figure all this out. So they were super open and transparent with their what's working and with their results, and I'm going to share some of that today. Also, a big thank you to Brandwise for putting this on. It's such a great, all of the webinars, I had the chance to see the one last week too, just being that resource to help the industry is awesome, and I'm honored to be a part of this. And then anybody who participated in that survey. Now, some of the questions that were listed in that survey, these are what I'm going to cover today. So just so you know, if you were asking, I want to know about increased ROI or lead generation via platforms, how other suppliers are doing, how to quantify sales, what's working for sales. As a sales rep, how do I connect to wholesale accounts in my territory via social media? Very similar type of question. What is the best way to target our market on social, since they are not just consumers? Attracting, engaging, how to do this better, how to drive followers and engagement on Instagram, what others are doing as an agency to influence sales within their retailers. And this one, I won't talk too much about what other agencies are doing, but because we work with retailers at Crystal Media, I am going to share some of the things that's working really well for us. And then strategies for gaining more followers, effective email campaigns, more is more to less is more. I'm going to touch a little bit on email marketing in today's webinar as well, but I'm going to do my best to answer all these in the content that we're going to go over. And then, like I said, at the end, we'll address some more questions. Okay, so I have an insider membership group called our Insiders. I'm actually going to take a quick sip of water. Okay, And I asked them, which platform do you prefer to connect with your reps and vendors? I was not surprised at all by their results. I'm getting so nervous all of a sudden, guys. I do this all the time and I feel so nervous. Maybe it's because of our different industry here, but I'm just gonna take a second. If you guys could do me a favor and say hello into chat, just so I know chat's working too. We should be good in a second. Catch my breath.
Thank you, Pauline. We're getting you rock, Crystal.
Okay.
A lot of hellos.
Oh, am I not seeing the chat, Callie?
I think that it's close. Yeah, it's going to be coming through the questions window.
Okay.
Loving this.
Good. Okay, here, I want to have this up so I can see you guys. Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. Love seeing what you guys are saying. Okay. Yay. Okay, hello, Karen, Cindy, yay. Okay, thank you guys so much. So I asked our retailer insiders in preparation for this webinar, how do they want to hear from you? First way, they said, I prefer email to social media. Then they said Facebook groups, and then they said a Facebook page. Now, majority of rep agencies that I see, they have a Facebook page. I bet if I were to ask right now, everybody would say, yes, we have a Facebook page. But if you're seeing those results, that's another question, and we're going to talk about that today. Now, some of you have a Facebook group. I've got some really great case studies to share today with Facebook groups. And then everybody's using email marketing, and our survey results show that too. So I'll go over that in a second. Now, my retailer said a couple of things. So Ooh La La Gift, she said she wants email to communicate with you, website to see products, Instagram and Facebook to check out new vendors and products. And that's something that Stacy said, that they'll just continuously post new products. And what the retailer will do is they'll be taking a screenshot of it, they'll text it to their rep, they'll go on their website to place orders, to start swirling around, but it's not always easy to know that that one post drove people over to that website, but they keep staying consistent so people can keep seeing what's new. Mike said none of ours use anything but emails to be digitally present, which I see a huge missed opportunity there. Mike's got a toy and game store. And then Rusty said, unfortunately, none of our reps or lines do a good job with this. We have only 2 that have pages or groups that are active. They need a little Crystal Media teaching, in my opinion. So I am glad to be here, but I think what the most challenging part of this is just really trying to determine where your efforts are going to pay off, where you're going to get the most for your time, because I know that we are all very limited when it comes to our time. So we're going to quickly go through these survey results before the content, and we had about 50 people participate in this survey, again, just to get the pulse of the social media industry for gift and home. It was pretty split on who was taking this. Sales reps or manager or admin staff of an agency was the bulk of the participants. We also had sales managers or admin of a supplier, and then our others just make up things like division manager, marketing director, marketing manager for a supplier, a couple of owners, principal, sales agency owner, VP of sales marketing for an agency, just so you can have an idea of who was responding. What social media platforms are you active on for your work? So really just being focused on the business aspect. Facebook is going to be our #1, followed by Instagram. No surprise there. These are the top 2 platforms that retailers use. So you want to spend your time where retailers are spending their time. These are going to be the top 2. They also tend to be the easiest, but each of them do have some of their challenges because there's a lot of different things you can do with them. LinkedIn was 3rd, more of that B2B platform, YouTube, and then Pinterest. We have a couple of people who are tweeting. One person on TikTok. TikTok happens to be my personal favorite, but we're not doing too much with it from a business perspective. We'll talk a little bit about that later. The others was Facebook and Instagram, as well as Vimeo. What other digital marketing platforms are you actively using for your work? Email marketing was hands down Number one, everybody who answered said yes, they're using email to market. Followed by text marketing. I'm seeing a lot more of our retailers use texting too, so I think that's going to be growing. Then we've got webinars like we're doing today, company blog, and then search engine marketing really low. I see a huge opportunity for, I was actually quite surprised that we weren't doing a lot. This can be SEO or paid advertising like Google AdWords. Huge opportunity here to leverage these platforms for this industry. Which one platform has been the most successful in getting sales? Facebook actually comes in as number 2. Email marketing was 65% of the respondents were actually seeing those dollars. We are seeing some money come in from Facebook. Then we had 10% saying Instagram. We did have 1 person for Pinterest. But otherwise, everything else, we're not seeing that translate to a sale. Do you have someone on your team dedicated to managing your social media? So no, 33% said no. I'm the one who manages. And that most likely is a rep who is managing for themselves. Sometimes that can be a little bit harder to outsource because it is kind of your personal brand. As you build up, and I hope that you do, your social media presence and your plan, it might be something where you do outsource part of that to get some help for you, even just like a social media assistant. Otherwise, we have, yes, a part-time employee is 24%, and then a full-time employee for 20%, independent contractors, followed by we're not active on social, and then 1 is using an agency. How many hours are dedicated by your company or an external resource to your social media per week? So less than 5 hours per week was our winner here, followed by 5 to 10. Everybody I talked to on the phone was about the same time, but if they were prepping for maybe an online market, which a lot of us did those virtual shows this summer, then they were spending a little bit more time. Then some are spending 10 to 20. Couple are spending 30 or more hours, and I just want to say, if you are leveraging multiple social media platforms, you're creating content for those social media platforms, images and videos, you're running ads, multiple ads to multiple audiences, you're doing your email marketing, this definitely can become a full-time job. We're seeing a few people spending that amount of time. And then what percentage of your customer base engages with you or your company on social media? Less than 25%. 52% of you say, they're not really engaging with us. Then we've got our 25 to 50%. Actually, we've got our I don't know. It comes in second place with 24%, and that's such a big one. I often will ask, and I hear this from retailers and rep agencies, suppliers, I don't know if it's working. And one of the biggest reasons why we don't know it's working is because we haven't set any metrics around the success of our social media. So I'll give you some metrics that you can be setting in this webinar. This is optional, but pretty much everybody chose to answer. Year to date, how are your year-over-year sales? So we are at 27%. Majority, that was the biggest piece there, was down 50% to 25%. Then we are at roughly even with 22%. I was very happy to see that during this pandemic. It's been quite interesting actually to see what's happening from the sales perspective for our retailers as well as for us. Then we have followed by, what is our next one here? Our blue, up, yay, up, 10% to 25%. Especially depending on the categories that you're in. Obviously, some just really took off because of the state of the world. And so then we have down is at 13%, and then tied for up between 25 to 50 and up more than 50% was nobody there. What percentage of your sales would you attribute to actively generated from social media? 41%, say less than 10%. Again, this is where it can be challenging to track. And often marketing and sales, they are 2 different things, right? So marketing fuels to get leads, to get traffic, and then you can convert those into new customers and into sales. I would really love to see that be higher though, and I think that it can be higher for the industry. 10 to 30% of their percentage of sales. And then again, that I don't know is a little bit higher. Are you running social media ads? And if yes, how much are you spending? Majority of people are not running ads, but of those that are spending $100. We have $100 per day on our best-selling items. We are just starting at $3,000 a month. We have 200 to 300, approximately 50. I've run a few Facebook ads on behalf of my customers. Cost has been minimal. Didn't hear much about the results. Yes, we spend less than $25 a month right now. A few people said, none, $2,000, and then I cannot read this pink. I don't have, not currently. They have in the past, but they're currently not. Now, on Facebook, you can go to people's pages and see if they're running ads and actually see the type of ads that they're running. So some of the larger wholesale marketplaces are running a ton of Facebook ads. Now, the pages that I went to in preparation for this webinar, different agencies, suppliers, everyone that I looked at, nobody had ads that were currently being ran. Doesn't mean they've never used it in the past, but nothing was on today. That is one of the biggest missed opportunities in this industry. And I'll talk a little bit more about advertising and why it's so important, but I recommend running ads all of the time. There's a strategy where we are promoting every single piece of content that you are posting to Facebook, to your page. So we'll go deeper on that in today's webinar. So that's a quick overview of those survey results. Again, thank you if you participated in those. It would be kind of interesting. My obviously hopes and dreams here is that you'll take some of these things that you learned today, you will implement, you will be consistent. I would love to hear your results too. And then if we do another survey in 6 months or a year, I hope that we can increase the level of customers and engagement and traffic and decrease some of those, I don't know. Right? We want to make sure this is working for us. So let's talk about best practices for engagement, driving new customers, and getting a B2B website traffic. Something I have been teaching since 2007 in social media, this has never changed, and I have a feeling it won't, is when we post pictures of people, we have humanized content. Hands down, it's the best performing content on social media. Because we're on social media, we're here, it's a place where we connect with our friends and family every single day. So from a brand, when you can humanize what you are posting, it makes you more relatable and it makes people want to engage with your posts. Ashley Miller with Give Carson does a great job. She's got a private Facebook group, and I'll share a little bit more about that later. And she went away on this beach batch weekend, and she had a little product to plug there with Brewmate for the entire beach batch party for the win. So she is kind of talking about products here, but she's humanized. She's showing all her friends on vacation. It does not need to be super all about business all the time. People really want to build relationships, and you guys know that better than anybody being in this industry. You know, and our retailers are so relationship people too. So when you are showcasing your people, for example, Portico collection, I scrolled through, I made it to April, and I was like, I gotta stop scrolling. So the past 5 months of content, this is their #1 engaged with post on Facebook, and it features people. It's a very humanized post. It has nothing to do with products, but a lot of people were engaging and celebrating. Now, here's why this is really important. When people like, comment, share, click, or even stay on your content longer than other pieces of content, they are more likely to see what you post in the future. So we want to be publishing content that gets people to hit the like or the comment or share, or gets them to click, or gets them going through our album, or gets them watching the content longer. That's one of the reasons why video works so well, because people stay on the content longer, so they can see what we're posting in the future. It's all with the algorithm. Every social media site has an algorithm. Facebook specifically looks at over 100,000 pieces of data and determines who sees what when. So part of that is just if they've engaged with you, they're more likely to see what you are going to post in the future. So make sure you have a blend of the humanized content. Now, I mentioned that video works really well too, and I have to say that video is, look at my chat and we're good. Video is some of the best type of posts for your social media, and I really would love for you to post video at least weekly. It's more engaging, it helps build a relationship from an algorithm perspective. The social media platforms love video, and Facebook especially. If you've got a video post, Facebook's going to give that a heavier weight, meaning it's going to show that post to more people for free, organically, than if it was a picture. And a few years ago, a Facebook representative was quoted saying, or Facebook executive was quoted saying that Facebook will be video only in 5 years. That's about 4 years ago. I don't think it's going to be video only within the next year, but you and I, we all know that video has such a strong presence on Facebook. You can't not go there without every other post basically being a video. So when it comes to your video content, of course you can talk about products and you can sell, but I also want you to give tips, have educational posts, add value, connect, be human, tell stories, offer help. Just be there for your audience, build that relationship, share about you and business too. Again, we are building the relationship so people know, like, and trust you so they buy from you. I really want to encourage you to not just sell in these videos. Now, Facebook users spend 3 times more time watching live videos than traditional videos. So I really want you to do video content on social media, but if you live stream, you are more likely to get better results. More people seeing it, more people acting. So Camille did a great job with her mom who started the business. They did this like, they were probably using Zoom or maybe a third party like B.live to host this webinar. She's got her brand, the logo in the corner of the video, which is awesome for branding. And she just asked questions. It was a great conversation. It was back in the day, starting the business, just very authentic. And you can see in these comments, people are saying, great job. You know, you both are uplifting. So nice to see you. Love you all. So if you think about it, if I'm a retailer and I'm thinking about, like, I need to reorder or I want to know what's new, who am I going to think about when I am immediately like, who do I need to turn to? And sales, who does these videos all the time, and Camille does such a great job with her videos. She is consistent, she shows up. Or a rep group that I never hear from. Like, I'm never even going to think about them, right? Of course, it's and sales. I'm going to click right over. I'm going to contact my rep because they're showing up. So this is a great way, just telling stories. This is this is a split screen Instagram live. On the bottom is my friend Julie, and she happens to be my friend. So I gave her some coaching on how to do this live stream. But this is a perfect example of how you need to pivot. So in April, Bixby and Ball never did these live streams. I have to open this door. Give me 1 second. You guys totally just saw my messy background behind me, but it's so hot in here. I trapped myself in this office. And I think that's part of my issue here, which is like just so strange that this is happening. So Bixby and Ball, do me a favor, guys, actually. How many of you have gone live on Facebook? Can you chat in yes or no? Because I have seen a lot of you use live, but I see a major opportunity for a lot of people that I was looking at. So, and hopefully I have this right, chat it in, or you can do it in the question section too. And this there might be a slight delay when I'm seeing your answers, but I would just love to know if you guys are doing lives. There's a very good chance that your retailers are doing lives too. I think that I'm not viewing these. Okay, Okay, here we go.
So,
Perfect, perfect.
yeah,
Thank you guys. So
a
I'm
lot of
seeing, thank
a
you,
lot of
Callie.
no's so far. We have a few that have tried going live on Instagram, and some people that have just started going live. We have 3 so far that have said they just started going live.
So you guys, look at this opportunity, right? Like I really want to challenge you to go live. I'll give you some tips for when you are going live. And then just Instagram, I would love to see how that goes for you on Facebook too, Morgan. So this is a retailer, not a rep. Julie, who's on the bottom, she's my friend. Betsy, who's on the top, she owns Bixby and Ball. And before COVID, they never did live streaming events. April comes, their store is closed, right? Like nobody can come into the store. And they're getting creative on what can we do to stay connected. Our customers still want to buy, our customers still want to see us. So they turned to live streaming, which so many retailers did. They marketed this ahead of time. And in this screenshot, you can see that there were 51 people who were on live. They spoke for 90 minutes, okay? You'll notice that first arrow, it says sold. And then that second one, they pinned a comment to purchase. It says to purchase call. And then they had the phone number. That's a must-do tip for anybody who's doing live streaming. So for those of you who are doing it, make sure you pin. You can do this on Facebook or Instagram, how people can buy. So even, I know it seems so obvious that you're like, contact your rep to buy, but just make it really simple for people. And also think about somebody who's not a customer who lands on your video or friend tag them. We want to help them know how they can go register or give them the link to your site so they can find their own rep, or maybe they can just go and shop on your B2B site. So pin the comments at the top how they can purchase. In this case, they had to call the store. So Betsy was at her house going through different items. Julie's in the empty store by herself, hosting and helping manage. Somebody was taking the calls, somebody was running the chat on their Instagram. This one live streaming video that ran for 90 minutes produced $17,000 in sales for this store. Huge success for them. They had never done lives before. This was their very first one. And I say to Julie, I'm like, don't stop doing lives. You got to keep doing them. That's my fear, is that as we start reopening and kind of going back to normal, that people are going to stop their social media efforts. But we're seeing that produce, we're seeing those results. And so I want you guys to keep consistent with your efforts. Now, another example here, Ashley Miller going live in her Facebook group, showcasing and demonstrating products. But she does such a great job with this post because she says this also makes a great training video for your sales associates and staff. So totally adding value there. And then she says, if you want to download or use the training for your staff, here's the link. Now, making it so easy for the retailer to get that information like Ashley did, because if you just said, you could show them this video or download it, the retailer is going to get stuck. So she uploaded it to a separate location, so it's super simple for retailers to access. This is another retailer, but she says something that I think is so important for all of us to hear. In February, before COVID, she came to Carlsbad, California, where we're based, and I do in-person workshops with retailers. And we talk about live because it's one of the best tools that you possibly could be using. So she got inspired. She went home. She did a live stream where she just showcased those 4 shirts that you see in the video here. This is what Michelle shared with me in my group. She said, you know what I realized today, dear friends? Amazon cannot do what we can in videos. They just can't. Video is our trump card. It's a gift we all have readily available at our fingertips, and we must take advantage of it or else. And now for the results. Drum roll, please. We started with a total of 24 shirts, 6 of each of the 4 styles. We sold 19 of the 24 today, so in that same day. And then this was, you'll see the date, this is just a couple weeks before all the shutdowns started with COVID. So she was able to drive that foot traffic. This is going to be a strategy that will work in the future, but right now people are spending they're signing on to apps multiple times every single day. In fact, 1 out of 5 minutes spent on a mobile device is either spent on Facebook or Instagram. So now people in the comfort of their home can still tune in, whether it's the consumer with the retailer or it's the retailer with you, and still shop. It's never been easier. Now, in-person shopping, that's not going away. That's still something that people love to do. But I think we have to have that added element of online and social selling through live streaming like you saw here. So for a couple of you that maybe you're not live streaming because there's fear associated or you don't want to be on camera or whatever it may be, I just want to give you a couple of video tips to maybe help push you, because I want you to get comfortable with the discomfort. And I want you to know that a lot of people feel uncomfortable being on camera. I hear it from my retailers all the time. I've heard it from some reps. It's just not a thing that we're used to, and now all of a sudden anybody can be this producer. So the first thing is be prepared. Have an outline, just even bullets, what you know you want to cover. Have the items ready to showcase if you're showcasing items, and make sure you have good lighting and sound. That's just critical to today's world. We're not going to put up with a spotty stream, or if we can't hear you or see you very well. And then I want you to think of your favorite customer on the other side of that video camera. You know, if you ever feel nervous, I mean, look, I have been doing this. I have been a public speaker, international. I've been to several countries. I love speaking. It's my favorite thing. And I got nervous a couple of times here. I will say I have airflow now, which makes a big difference, but it happens to everybody. We are human. So I want you to just go with it. And if you have a lot of nerves, especially in the beginning, think of your favorite customer, that retailer who comes into your showroom at market and is like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. They're hugging and you're pouring a margarita, sitting down, talking with family about family, and then you get to business, right? Like, think of that person on the other side of the video. Smile. Sometimes people forget this step, but it does release endorphins. It does help calm you down. So make sure that you just take a minute, smile, think of your favorite customer, and then just push record and go live. Dive into the content immediately. Don't sit there and say, hey, we're going to wait for a couple people to join us live. And then you're just sitting there and you're doing something or you're chatting to somebody. And then you're like, oh, no, okay. Oh, well, I guess we have a couple of people now. I'll just start. I don't want you to do that, because for the replay, that's how people are going to see it start. And people are going to just scroll right off of that replay. So I want you to start right away and say, hello, I'm Crystal Vilkaitis. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you must buy this water bottle. And also I have a really funny story. I know you guys can relate to it. So let's dive right in and just go. And then you're going to start seeing some people join live. And when they do, say hi to them and tell them to comment. Tell them to like the video, because when they engage with your post, they're more likely to see what you post in the future. Engage the audience, ask them to comment if you're selling, remind people how to buy throughout. So we're pinning our comment to the top so people know how to buy, but you need to remind them throughout the video too, by just saying it and give them those instructions, because people will be joining you live at different parts of your video. And then have a call to action, probably going to be contact your rep, contact me, go online, private message me, direct message me, however, whatever you want people to do, tell them. I know this might seem super basic, but when you tell people what to do, they're more likely to do it in these live events. And then tell people when your next one is. So be prepared. Maybe you're going to do a series. Maybe you're doing a 7-day all about the new lines, or what you need for holiday, or what you need 2021, or different trends, seasons, whatever. So have that time in place so they can mark their calendars. And then promote the video when you're finished using ads. Now, Lorna is also a retailer, but she said, so yesterday I did my first Facebook Live sale and I made over 800 in an hour. I went through the social selling course first, which was great. I've done a few live videos over the years, but didn't really like it. I was too stiff, could never seem to relax. So I've been semi-resistant to live videos. I kept telling myself that if you're not a very social person to begin with, it's going to translate to your social media. But Not only did I sell a lot, I had one lady text me and tell me how great it was and to please do more. Also, after an hour of talking, I realized I wasn't nervous anymore. I was just talking to my customers like I do in person. That was an even bigger win than the sales. So I share this just because I hear this all the time from people who are worried of doing a live stream. They really feel calm after they do their first. Okay, so engagement tools. How many of you have, okay, so we said live stream. Actually, it's gonna ask how many of you have used any of these, but that one's gonna be a challenge. If you recognize a video or a tool up here, go ahead and chat it in. Zoom, have you done an appointment over Zoom? Yes or no? That has been a big, let me move this up. We have seen a lot of, yep, yes. And the pin feature, sorry, Christopher, I'm just seeing that. Can you give more information on how to use pin? Pin the comment right when you go live, you type in that comment and then it gives you an option to pin it. So yes, Robin and Christopher are using Zoom. That's an obvious one, but Voxer is like a walkie-talkie. So it's just audio. So your like retailer can send you a message via audio and then you can send it right back. Similar, obviously you can do that through texting, but some people want to keep it separate from texting, and so Voxer is a great alternative. Telegram is really great for one-to-many. This is where, let's say you're doing a virtual show and you want to get people to go to the show. So you're going to send out a telegram saying, hey guys, 2 days away, and you can give some updates leading up to it to make sure people attend. BombBomb, I wonder if anybody's used BombBomb. Here's an example of mine. This is where, a little crazy picture of me in there, but what is so great about BombBomb is you record a video and it will take a GIF of the video and put it into the email so there is movement. So I'm waving in this picture and that's what they see in the email. So then when there's movement in an email, we're more likely to read it. So all I said was, hi, Kara, it was so great seeing you this week. I just want to send a quick video. Have a wonderful weekend. She says, okay, wow. I was not prepared for specific feedback about the conference and social media day yet, but I just wanted to say you blew my socks off with a personalized video. Wow. Be back in touch as soon as I pick my jaw up off the floor. So Kara is the social media coordinator for a jeweler. I just sent out these, but every single person who attended my in-person social media day, I wanted to send a video to them, just thanking them, asking them for feedback. And then if I had any extra like tips or calls to action, I put it in the video. So then that play button is also in the email, and emails that have a play button increase click-through rates by up to 42%. So if you're wanting people to click through on your email, that's a good way to do it. So BombBomb, I mean, we have to just start getting creative on how we're going to be connecting with our retailers. Obviously, we're using social to stay top of mind and to be consistent, show new products so they think of us. But then there are other tools that you can leverage within email or using your phones that can really stay in contact and help sell through. To engage or to drive website traffic using stories on either Instagram or Facebook is going to help you as well. Ashley with Give Carson said this has produced website traffic for her. Camille with And Sales, this has helped her too. So for those of you, how many of you are using stories on Instagram? Go ahead and say yes or no in the chat. I think this is a majorly missed opportunity when it comes to reps and retailers on Instagram. For those of you, I think there's a slight delay when I ask a question. Oh, here we go. It just doesn't auto. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. I'm seeing lots of yeses. Okay. So for stories, for those of you who have never used a story before, these disappear after 24 hours. So I recommend doing a story every day. because you want to show up in that part of the app every day since it disappears. And I really do feel like there are users who go through stories only, those people who will scroll through the news feed and only go through the feed, and then people who consume it all. So with your story, here's an example of what it looks like. You can have it be whatever you want. For Ashley, she's featuring a product, and then she's got that Labor Day 2020 code. If you want to track your sales and metrics, what's producing, having a Labor Day IG instead, and I know this means that you're creating additional codes, and sometimes we just don't have the time for that. But if you do, I highly recommend, because this is going to be one of the best ways for you to see what's actually getting people to purchase, right? Where is this working? Now, from a story perspective, people might DM you more information, ask questions, and that was something that Camille said, like whenever she posts a story, people usually will DM or they'll go to the website. So it's a really great way to get people engaging. Don't just post products here though, tell stories. You could even just be like on your way to your next appointment, real quick, open up your phone, post a quick story of what you're up to, and that's it. It's all about just being relationship focused and being you and having that humanized content while also talking about products. Charlie does a great job with asking questions on her social media and curating. This is an example where she posted a mask for winter time, and she's sending this off to her dad, but she wanted to know feedback from her audience. What do you think? Would you purchase it? And they're saying, personally, I love the look, particularly for fall and winter, but unless you're wearing it outside, it might feel a little too warm. So it's great to get that feedback. And then people were like, yes, I love it. How do I order like a dozen? So even though you're focusing on product, and you still might sell, asking those questions and just engaging gets people to respond. And like I said earlier, when people are engaging with you, they're more likely to see what you're posting in the future. Real quick, I'm going to start going a little powering through a few things here to try to get to all the rapid fire questions that I put in here from the survey results. I just want to plant a seed that Reels, we're seeing really awesome organic reach on Reels. So on the left is an interior designer who just went through and showed a kitchen remodel. On the right, where the arrow is, she had 102,000 views on this reel, all free, nothing paid, and she has 36,000 followers. So almost triple her followers saw this. We're getting a lot. Instagram is really trying to promote Reels and get people to use them. So they're putting a lot of heavy weight into them, meaning they're showing them to a lot of people. So that might mean that people see your Reel who is a consumer. They're not a retailer. But let's say that you got 100,000 views on a product that you rep. I would share that to all my retailers and say, this is really trending. Like, people are loving this. Feel free to share this reel. You could give them access to share it, or maybe they want to create something out of it. Maybe you just are encouraging them to order, whatever that is. But I really, if you want that free reach, which can be hard to get lately, over the past year to 2 years, free reach is more challenging. This is a great way to do so with Reels. I mentioned Facebook groups. Some of you are using groups. In my opinion, if you are using groups and Facebook ads, that's the best strategy for Facebook. If you are not using groups or ads, you're not going to be getting a lot out of Facebook right now. So here's Ashley. She is our superstar. She says, are you registered at Give Carson? If you are, drop it below. I have a treat for you. And then she shows how you can register and how you can order online. Again, making it so easy for the retailer. Ashley says that 20% of my sales come from her Facebook group. How cool is that? She was my only one that I spoke to that could really attribute a percentage of her sales to her social media efforts. But for her, hands down, it was the Facebook group is where she was really seeing that traction. And one thing I want to point out, with this example, Ashley only had 2 people comment, and she's even giving something away. What Stacy told me is that retailers aren't really engaging because they don't want their competitor to see that they're buying that line. And so, but what Ashley said is people will take a screenshot of whatever she posts in her group and text it to her or email it to her or call her. And so they are ordering, they just might not engage. New Era Sales team also has a Facebook group right on their homepage. They've got this call out so you can tell it's really a feature for them that they're trying to push. And I love their copy where it says, we are sharing on the exclusive Facebook page, new lines, new products, specials, and trend alerts. So really just helping them stay up to date. So that's an awesome way to leverage groups. Very quickly, tell your retailers to use groups. It will work for you, it's gonna work for them. This is one of our insiders. She said, I decided to start a Facebook group, per my suggestion, for our store a few weeks ago in the midst of COVID-19 as a way to connect more with our customers. We currently have 450 members and it is growing daily. We started doing a deal of the day, Monday through Friday, for our group members only. And I cannot even tell you how well it's been received. I believe FOMO, fear of missing out, is a huge motivation for its success. And doing these deals has increased our weekly revenue on average of $850. So share this case study with your retailers. This is a home and gift store. You have higher organic reach with groups. It's more of a conversation tool. It is a little bit more to maintain because anybody can post there, but we are just seeing a lot more out of your efforts on Facebook groups. Quickly for Pinterest, great website traffic generator. Pin all your products linking back to your product pages on your B2B site. Use keyword-rich descriptions. Think of Pinterest as a search engine versus a social media site. Just make sure it's keyword-rich. You can use a tool called viraltag.com to bulk upload all your product pictures, linking back to the product pages, and then they go out every hour, let's say, or every couple of days. I worked with the lighting showroom who uploaded 4.5 months worth of pins in 2 days. So somebody asked about automation in the survey results, and this is one example of that. Viral Tag can help you schedule and drip that content out. Oops, I clicked over here. There will be a replay, Chrissy. I see your comment there. Gamify the online experience. So here's a great example from Illuminate. They said, our new Illuminate website is up, check it out, and we have a fun giveaway. If you can message us and tell us how many M&Ms we eat daily, you will be entered in a raffle for a giveaway. Note, the answer is on the website. So I've done this with other sites too, doing a scavenger hunt and tell people to go find stuff. Great way to gamify, make it fun, and especially if it's a new site or you've got like a bunch of new products or whatever that is, that's a really great strategy to get people on the site and participating. Then leverage Facebook and Instagram ads. The algorithm on average, 1 to 6% of people on your Facebook page see what you're posting for free. 1 to 6%. So that's why I say that if you're not using a Facebook group or you're not leveraging ads, just posting your Facebook page is not going to do much for you today. And you might want to start reconsidering your strategy or just adding on advertising and then advertising the posts that you are publishing so more people are seeing that. Now, I could spend an entire day talking about ads with you. I just want to share a couple of audiences for this industry that I would recommend you run ads to. Your email list. All your retailers who buy from you or people who used to buy from you, you can upload those lists to Facebook and reach those people on Facebook and Instagram. You can then take that email list and create a lookalike out of those people so they look like your current customers. Now, could somebody get thrown in there that is a consumer and they don't have a retail store? Yes, it's a lookalike. So Facebook's doing its best. It's not going to find you all retailers, but it will find you new ones. Competitive brands, market centers. Now, if you are advertising to market centers, You will also advertise to other rep agencies, suppliers, reps. That's okay though. Your retailers are in there too. So you can definitely leverage ads to market a showroom and to market your B2B website, and then use remarketing ads for the sale. So remarketing is going to be, you have a pixel on your B2B site and you are remarketing that traffic, so encouraging people to go buy if they didn't, or to go check out new items or things like that. If you have a promotion going on. So those are some of the audiences I would recommend for advertising. Now, email marketing, getting to the home stretch here, guys. Email marketing, it's our most effective traffic and sales tool for Crystal Media. We see sales from social media, but we see a lot more from email. So just a quick tip for you when it comes to email marketing. Another topic we could spend a lot of time talking about. In the gift and home industry, I'm seeing about a 1 to 4 a month send. The conversations I had leading up to this call, everybody was either sending once a week or once a month. It might be more leading up to a promotion or for a market, or maybe you're segmented so you're sending more often, but I often hear I don't want to send too often, and I want you to know that if you're not getting any unsubscribes, you're not sending enough. We have to keep showing up. Getting the retailer's attention is very challenging. They are being bombarded by so many different services and other agencies, so you have to keep showing up. Something that we do at Crystal Media is we will resend to non-opens. So let's say you send an email and 20% of people open it. Take the 80% that did not open it, send them the same exact email, but have a different subject line. Whenever we do that, another 10 to 15% on average opens that email. We would have never had those people read that communication if we didn't do that resend to non-open. So we don't do that all the time, but that's been a really strong strategy for us that I wanted to share with you guys. Then you should continuously focus on building your audiences and leads. So we're sending our emails, but we want to keep getting new emails, right? Those new customers to build. And I really want you guys to focus in 2 areas, which is to build your social media following, which is your undependable, because those networks can change overnight. So they're not really dependable, but still build them. So you're building your reach and your audience, but also build dependable, like cell phone numbers, email addresses. One of the best ways to use social media is to build your list, like email, phone number, with a lead magnet. So it's something that's so good, people would almost pay for it. You're giving it to them for free in exchange for their email address. All the major e-commerce sites do this and offer free shipping or percentage off your first order or dollar off. But like, you could do other things. Here at Crystal Media, when COVID happened, we have a physical social media planner. We turned it into a digital version with some tools to help retailers. Everything was free. They just had to give their email address. We had almost 33,000 views on this one video, and we got hundreds of new email addresses from retailers who were not already on our list because they wanted these resources. And this was purely promoted through social media. Right now, we've got a resource, and feel free to go get it. This is our Instagram post anatomy. So this helps retailers know what to post. Add that value. Ari says, keep going past the hour. Good, Ari, I'm glad that you're saying that, because I'm going to rapid fire questions, but we're going to go slightly over, guys. So thank you so much for your time here. So yeah, think of what you know. How can you really add value to the retailer? What do they need to run their business more effectively, efficiently? How can you help them? And ask them too. Do a survey, get their feedback, call them, see what they need, especially right now during COVID. You can get some of them just on the phone and ask them purely what they need and how you can support them. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing that. You care about your customers. This industry has so much heart. But see what they need and then create that, or find a partner to create that and then offer that through social media. Build your email list and then start marketing to them through social media. The way you guys can get this is if you go to our Instagram, and then click on our link in the bio. It's the Instagram post anatomy. All right, so kind of our recap here, looking ahead. Reps and the agency supplier must consistently leverage social media to engage, build, and drive traffic and sales. Someone needs to be in charge. I think that's sometimes where it goes wrong, is somebody's in charge of a lot of things, and now they get social media added on to them, and they're scrambling, they're trying to balance it all, and it's just not going to get done very well. So I really think this needs to be delegated to somebody who is dedicated to building it and really implementing a plan. And this is where retailers go wrong too. People don't have a plan. Like, what are we trying to achieve with social? How are we going to do it? How often? What's our budget? Who's in charge? What's success look like? And setting some of those SMART goals. So the SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timed. Set goals around how many new email addresses you want to get from your social media month. How many appointments do you want to set from social media? What percentage of your website traffic you want to be from organic social or paid social? What kind of sales percentage do you want on your B2B site from social media? Now, of course, keep in mind SMART, so specific, measurable, achievable. We might want a ton of more traffic and sales, but you might need time to build up over that, or you might need a budget. So make sure they're SMART goals. And something that Stacy said is content takes time, make your posts count. And she's so right. She uses canva.com, great tool. It's canva.com, canva.com. If you've never heard of it, you're gonna love it. Your retailers will love it. It's an easy to use design tool for all sorts of digital graphics. She just will sit down and schedule out her content for the month. Like, she had all of September already created and scheduled when I talked to her end of August. She's on it. But she's focused. Like, that is one of her focuses, right? And so you have to have that person there. And then Charlie said a little effort sees more engagement. When she spends a little bit more time planning, she gets more out of that post. So gone are the days of just like posting a quick picture, we're carrying this now, new, on big show special, order before this date. Like, you gotta do something a little bit more thought out. The design element, especially if it's going to be on Instagram, you just need a little bit more of a polished and professional looking design there. The humanized stuff works really well for Facebook, and then leveraging video. More personal brands connects right back to that video. Leverage social ads. Honestly, my opinion would be to go all in on virtual shows, mini shows, educational events, your videos. This doesn't always have to be live streaming. We talked about some of those other engagement tools and apps that you can use to stay connected, but it's all about evolving what you're currently doing to meet the retailer where they are and provide an amazing experience. And what is everybody teaching the retailers right now? How are you going to create an amazing experience so your customers choose you and keep coming back to you versus Amazon? You're doing the exact same thing, right? What is the experience of working with your brand and you? And using some of these virtual tools can really help aid even long term, in my opinion. I definitely think we're still going to have the face-to-face, but I think this can really help support. Maintain social and virtual efforts. Don't stop, keep going, and show up where the retailer wants to connect. Ashley said, I'm sure you guys can relate to this. She said, I have 200 retailers who all prefer different ways of communicating. And she was saying, even one person won't do anything but fax. And I was like, what? I thought we were done with just faxing, but we're not. We are still, so however the retailer wants to work with you, we're going to do it. But a lot of them are spending their time on social media because that's where their customers are. So if you've been resistant, if you've been fighting it, if you know you could be doing more, now is the time to do more. They want to see you, they want to connect, and I know they're busy, but you can really help save time by showing up where they already are, using Messenger and private messages or DMing. You got to do it. Now's the time. Help the retailers, which we're all looking at ways to do that, and obviously that is what my business specializes in. Work together. Camille said we're all scrambling to learn this as soon as possible. We need to work together. I couldn't agree more. I feel like probably everybody on this call feels that way too. And that's why, again, I love that Brandwise is offering this webinar series to everybody, because it really is about working together to help support our retailers and our industry. So it is time to evolve, and my team and I would be honored to work with you and your retailers to help your retailers sell more so they order more from you. Quickly, here's the ways that we can help, and then we'll go into rapid fire questions. So we can host an educational webinar for your retailers. We can do a social media day. This is a 5-hour day with me. Pretty extensive. We set up their social media plan. Retailers love this. We did one in July where we had 255 retailers buy a ticket. 238 showed up live and stayed on for all 5 hours. The attention was there. They need the help. It's kind of a dream of mine to do a social media day for gift and home industry. All of us kind of together doing that. Provide training content like PDF downloads or cheat sheets. If you want to share that Instagram post anatomy to your retailers, feel free to do that. We train social media. We can run Facebook and Instagram ads for retailers. We can manage their local listings too in our done for you agency. And then we have a printed social media planner. This just was released this year. It helps the retailer plan 12 months of social media content, but it's very special than any other planner you'll see because it has training built in the planner. There's actual resources that teaches them in the planner, and there's links where they can go learn on different topics deeper. That is all video training online. So all of our social media day participants get that with their ticket. If you guys want to learn more about us, crystalmediaco.com is the best place to go. You'll get the fastest response by emailing hello@crystalmediaco.com. My email address is just crystal@crystalmediaco.com. The best team in the world. We truly are happy to help you guys with your social media or your retailer's social media. Ari, I just want to do a little pulse check here, because what I did with these questions is I took what was on the survey, and any that I didn't specifically answer throughout this content, I just put them in here. So is it okay if I just kind of go through all of these, or do you want to come in with any kind of announcement, or you tell me, because I know I'm a few minutes past our hour.
Hey, Crystal, I already had to jump off, but we'd love to have you just run through all of these questions. And it looks like we have some questions coming in for you as well. So to any of our attendees that are still on here, feel free to upload your questions either through the questions window or raise your hand, and we'll be sure to get through those ones for you guys at the end as well.
Thank you, Callie. So Julie, for uploading your email list, you do this through Facebook Business Manager. So you'll get started at business.facebook.com. You have to have a business account, like a business page, in order to do that. And that's where you'll get started. Great question. All right, so here we go, rapid fire. You guys asked really great questions. So is TikTok and Snapchat viable for wholesale multi-line sales agencies? Are our customers using these platforms? Boutiques, clothing boutiques, a lot more are using TikTok. And I would project that we're going to see a lot more people using Reels, like actual retail stores using Reels, because it's built within Instagram, which is very similar to TikTok. So, but if you don't work with clothing boutiques, I would ask your retailers, do you use TikTok? Do you use Snapchat? If they say no or not really, I wouldn't put my efforts there. Instead, I would focus on learning Reels on Instagram, because I think that's going to be a big one for us. I'm always an advocate for surveying your retailers too, and ask them, where are you spending your time? But right now, Facebook and Instagram are the best places for sales agencies. What's the most effective platform to generate business at the wholesale level? Facebook and Instagram, and then leveraging email, obviously. And just like the survey results that we saw, that's what's already happening. I would just use Facebook groups, Facebook ads, some of those other tools to grow your list and to sell through. How useful are hashtags? Very useful on Instagram to get your content found. And I used to say, don't use hashtags on Facebook, but now Facebook changed, of course. They're always changing. They're putting a lot of weight into hashtags. They're marketing it. They really want people to use it. And so we're seeing that posts with hashtags are getting a larger organic reach. So now, yeah, you're going to want to use hashtags on Facebook too and Instagram. It's just going to help your content get found. But keep in mind, like Charlie, who she sells directly to consumers, but also to retailers, she uses the hashtag wholesale handmade in case retailers are searching specifically like that. So when you do use hashtags, you have a better chance of being discovered by the consumer versus the retailer, but it can still help get eyeballs on your content. How to construct fast, engaging posts and emails. I really do want to encourage some time being put into content. I think a meaningful content piece is going to get you more traction in business than something that's really fast. So I would really, it kind of just, look at what your goals are, your perfect customers, what kind of content they're relating to already and they're connecting with and they want to see, and ask them. And then what ends up happening to save time is if you sit down and block 2 hours, let's say, to create the next week or next month of content, you save time because that is your only focus. You can make sure that the content works together, it's consistent, it plays off of each other. Maybe there's a through line with what you're talking about for the month. And so you save time versus doing the one-by-one stuff. That tends to take more time. So I'd really try to schedule block. And then again, Canva, which Callie put that link in the chat section, that will help you because if you don't have a graphic designer, it will speed up creating pretty or branded or high quality images. How to do engaging surveys to find out how my retailers want and prefer to talk. So really, one of the ways that you could engage, like have an engaging survey, is that one, you could use Facebook Live and use their polling feature. So you can have questions already automatically added in there, and then you can have that come on right on the live video. You can do that with webinar platforms. GoToWebinar does it, Zoom does it. So those are all video based. The other option is you could do a poll feature on Instagram stories where you're having people vote and say like yes or no. You can change out whatever you want those answers to be when you're using the poll. Or you could even just ask questions and curate, like I showed with Charlie's post, where she's just posting a product and having people fill out that way too. So I would test a few different ways. The other thing, like we use SurveyMonkey, there's a lot of different survey platforms out there to get feedback from our retailers. And when you give them something in exchange or they enter Twin, they're more likely to fill that out. Then we've got our paid IG ads worth it if you're a wholesale showroom. Yes, it's just about targeting the right audience, which I talked about, your email list or lookalikes or your website traffic. So target the right audience, but absolutely I would use IG ads and just make sure that they're kind of the prettier lifestyle, nice polished look. Those tend to work better for IG ads. Is there a way to target your ad audience to only be B2B rather than B2C? Yes, I talked about this. Upload your list, right? Upload your current customer list or past customers. And then, like I said, with market centers and things like that, you can target, obviously you might get other types of people or with your lookalike audiences, but yes, you can do that. You can also upload your email list to LinkedIn. So for those of you who are using that platform, that was our third most used amongst the group we surveyed. How to look for ad rates and best fit for podcasts. Is it a viable component to digital marketing? Yes. So podcasts, let me make sure. Okay. Oh, and I see some questions over here too. I will definitely get to those, guys. Podcasts, yes. I mean, that, I think, in my opinion, I think that's one of the best places to be spending some dollars right now. Facebook and Instagram ads first, number one, always. But if you can find the right podcast that has your retailers listening, and there are some out there that have a great following that are very specific to retail, and then for as far as like ad rates and things, a lot of these podcasts on their site have a media kit or a rate sheet that you can ask for that will talk about the audience that listens, the size of audience, how many downloads. You could do a little research and see how many ratings they have on for the podcast. Listen to some of their episodes to make sure that's a place you want to show up. As far as cost, I feel like this ranges. It's kind of all over the board. I think it's more about, do you see value for that type of audience, which is pretty niche, and how many people are actually listening and for what that cost is, and does that align with your budget? How to make automation work for me. So I talked about viral text. Some of those scheduling tools are going to help, but I think that a lot of people want to automate social media, like all of it. And obviously you just can't. And when it's done well, it has some time spent on it. So there are tools where it can be cross, like you've scheduled the one, but it goes to multiple, like Hootsuite or Buffer. What I've really found though is posting authentic content to each of those platforms, because each of those platforms are a little different. The person who's there responds different, is different, the platform's different, the type of content that works the best is different. And so I think that automation can be challenging from a social media perspective, but an email perspective, I think that's a lot easier. You can set up different sequences, and depending on your email service platform that you're using, and do different triggers based off of behaviors, that can be more automated. How can an agency sell through Instagram when we use Brandwise reach for online orders? Now, of course, Brandwise, if you have anything to add, please do so. But what you can do with your Brandwise reach site is you can get a link to the site that you would put in your Instagram bio. So let's say you post a picture of something that people can buy on your site. In the caption, you would say, link is in the bio. People go to your link, and either it's that link right to your Brandwise site, or you can use a tool like Linktree. That's what we use. Linktree lets you put several links in, because maybe you have a free download for people. You're trying to grow your email list. And then you have people that go to your B2B site. And then maybe you have like, set an appointment with me. So that's a great tool. And then that's the way that you would sell through, just making sure that you keep talking about that link in the bio. Okay, I'll put this here in case you guys need our information, but we have a couple other questions over here. So Joe says, you mentioned content ad strategy, very curious on that subject. So as far as the content that you're advertising, Joe, the way that we do this for our retailers, we have multiple ads running to multiple audiences at the same time, dependent on the client's goals. So, if I have a retailer who's trying to raise awareness for a new line that they just got brought in, they're also doing a live show every week on their Facebook page. And then one of her goals is to just increase her email list. Well, then my ad content strategy is going to help support those goals. So one ad is going to be an offer ad, which builds the email address. It has a form built right into the ad. And then we're going to have some sort of the content, the messaging is going to be the reason why they should opt in. For this live show that she's doing, we'll probably promote the previous live stream. We'll do a video view ad. So the content is actually the old video, like last week's episode, but we could change the content that says, mark your calendar for this date. We do it every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Here's why you should join live. And then if she has this new line, we might be doing a carousel ad or a slideshow ad that showcases several items of the new line. And the purpose of that, the messaging, is to go to the site to buy it. So it just depends on the goals. That's going to direct the ad content strategy and the type of ads and audiences that you're running. And then Ash asks, what is the best video editor, iOS version? That's a good question for my designer, Ash. I know, like, very from a basic level, iMovie, you can download, like, iMovie is automatically on a Mac. You can download iMovie for your iPhone and then edit right through there. So I've done that before. There's also another pretty cool app that I was playing with recently called Focus, and then they also have Focus Live. So if you're recording it will like blur out your background, like make you look like you're on a fancy camera, but really you're on your phone. And then you can add overlays, you can edit, you can add in different videos, you can do all sorts of cool stuff right on your phone. So Focus Live or iMovie would be my picks. Okay, you're welcome, Joe. And I think that's it, guys. I so appreciate your time and attention. I know we went a little bit past, and I apologize for that. I hope you got something out of today, either a reminder or feel energized or inspired or got some great stuff that you feel like you can run with and start, connecting more with the retailers and engaging and growing. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And Callie and Brandwise, thank you so much. I'll turn it over to you, Callie.
Crystal, thank you so much, first and foremost, for joining and sharing all of this information. We're definitely going to be super excited to bring you back here in the future. We have a lot more marketing capabilities that are going to be building into the new Reach 2.0 sites that are coming out. And we definitely imagine that Crystal Media is going to be a huge aspect of this. So thank you so much for helping us today to just at least start getting some of the message out there in terms of how some of this can already start to be better as of right now. But the road ahead, it just is a good time to get started now. As Crystal mentioned, continue to just evolve, and we'll be set for everything in the future. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. The replay is going to be coming to you in about an hour, and it'll also be posted on Brandwise Insiders. So thank you guys.
Thanks, bye-bye.